The first 5 words out of anybody's mouth whenever they find out that I like wrestling are always the same. You know it's fake, right? You've heard that before, yeah? So here's what I usually say back, and what actually sometimes even gets them to give wrestling a try afterwards. My name is Joshua Hale Fialkov. I'm a writer and producer of television, animation, and graphic novels, and I definitely know a thing or two about what's real and what's fake. First of all, wrestling isn't fake. It's scripted, like Game of Thrones or Mission Impossible. But unlike Jon Snow or Tom Cruise, you're watching actors who are stuntmen. Wrestlers have to be highly trained, immensely well-tuned athletes, and convincing actors simultaneously. Alright, that's sort of like Tom Cruise. Secondly, wrestling isn't trying to convince you that it's real any more than an episode of Law & Order is trying to convince you that a New York City day player is a pedophile. In case the fact that one of them was an undead funeral director for 30 years wasn't enough of a clue. Third, and this is key, virtually nobody watching wrestling who isn't an 8-year-old thinks that it's real. It's been understood for decade upon decade that it's just a show. It was during the steroid scandal of the 80s that wrestling stopped being referred to as a sport and became sports entertainment. A very clear sign that what we're watching is very different than Monday Night Football or the Olympics. And now, here's the thing. That blending of reality and fiction, something known in wrestling as kayfabe, is actually one of the most complicated narrative techniques of the modern era. It's the very definition of postmodernism. Think about it like this. Wrestling is technically a show about a show. Almost like a violent version of The Muppet Show, where we're seeing the backstage machinations of a big budget sporting league. But then, those machinations continue out into the actual real world, as an entire industry of journalists, social media bloggers, and fans all argue about contract status, infighting between stars and management, and speculating about what's real and what's imagined, perpetuating the story 24/7 across thousands of channels, allowing for you to go as deep into it as you want. This meta story extends across brands, across years. Hell, even when wrestlers leave wrestling, it keeps going. It's the most elaborate metatextual story ever told. So yeah, wrestling is technically fake, but man, it makes you really question, isn't everything? We got some cool t-shirts down in the description that you can order to support the channel. I'm going to throw up a link to a video about some times that wrestling got really, really uncomfortably real. Hang out, watch another video, and we'll see you next time on Wrestling with Story. Wrestling forever.